All right, so these Ringing Cedars people who I was talking with online, and they're really pushing that I read their books. I was asking questions on their Telegraph group, Telegram, something like that. And one of them was kind of rude about it. The rest of them were perfectly nice. But, I was asking questions about what they believe in all this. And the way that they're saying, is, read the books, they're gold. It just sounds really religious, and it's not a good look, for trying to talk to a person who's a rational thinker. So I finally am looking at the books. It's here on my computer, and I'm just barely into it. In the very first part, these folks are taking their cool boat up in Siberia, thousands of kilometers from civilization, where there's some people there anyway. And their boat's really cool, and everybody's all excited, and there's these older guys off to the side, and they say, well, you know, you want to bring a bunch of like 50 people to go out and get this cedar, this magic cedar that's out there. And the old man advised cutting each piece into even smaller pieces, even taking one for themselves and giving the rest to our family, acquaintances, or anyone who wanted one as a gift. The old man said it was a special cedar. A piece of it had to be worn on the chest on a string. Moreover, you had to put it on while standing barefoot in the grass with your left hand pressed to your bared chest. A minute later, you would feel a pleasant warmth emanating from the cedar. Then a light shudder would pass through your body. From time to time, when desire arose, you would need to use your fingertips to polish the side of the cedar that did not touch your body, holding it with your thumb on the other side. The old man confidently asserted that 3 months later, the person possessing the piece of ringing cedar, this is the title thing, is the Ringing Cedars. Get right into it here, which is convenient for fiction, would feel a significant improvement in his well-being and would be healed of many diseases. Even AIDS, I asked, after telling them briefly what I knew from the press about this disease. The old man answered confidently, any disease. So already they're starting off here with bullshit, okay? Your little magic ritual is going to make you feel better, which it will because placebos work, right? But this is not a good start for me respecting their. I mean, I really like the idea of living back to nature in many ways. But even the way that, they're discussing it in other things about like, well, they have all these little square plots and stuff instead of plots that are designed on slope to integrate with the land. I mean, I have a bunch of criticisms. It seems like a bunch of normal people are following what I consider some very good values in reaction against the civilized industrial world that's going to fall anyway. So I'm liking so much of what they have to offer. But starting off here with, pseudoscientific placebo bullshit is not a good start. I'm too tired to be reading this right now anyway, so I don't think I'm going to continue just because I do want to give it a real shot. I will read the whole thing. And I'm going to take notes on it. This is a note on it. It's a note on the very beginning and how it just starts already to smell like kind of bullshit. But I like utopian fiction seen as fiction. And this is utopian fiction. That's how it should be viewed. And we should suck out of it everything we can that's valuable and see how we can implement that in a pragmatic world. And they're doing well at that. I mean, they're going cross-cultural. They're not just stuck in Russia. This model is becoming popular. But let's not turn it into a fucking religion. Maybe. Let's not be stupidly religious about it, I guess is a better way to say it. I mean, this is a good potential model for intentional communities. It's something people can agree on. But let's not start, like, turning into total bullshit because it's a disrespect to the ideas that are actually in it. Now, here we go. The old man said, God created the cedar as a reservoir for the energy of the cosmos. No. I have hundreds and hundreds of cedars here. I grow them all over the place. And I cut them down. And it's not magical. And I don't pray to them. And I don't rub them on my neck. And, I mean, do that if you want. But understand, it's all placebo. you're the one doing it. So I think I'm going to have to, I mean, I'm guessing already, having read a lot about this thing already, is I'm going to have to just reject tons of bullshit. I mean, anything with God, being mentioned is already suspect to me. I'm an atheist. I'm an intelligent thinking person. That's how you become an atheist. You don't make up entities that don't exist. Now, I think their conception, as far as chatting with them online, which I did yesterday, I think their concept is more of as a deist God, a concept of God who is not actively involved. And hopefully they're anti-authoritarian and reject anyone who speaks for God. But they do seem to believe that these books speak at a godlike level. And they've started kind of culty religious things out of it, which I am sympathetic with. I mean, we have to create alternative communities if we're going to create an alternative to the civilization that exists now. But if you throw in too much bullshit, only emissions of the forces of light can go from the person into this cosmos, and only a beneficial emission returns from the cosmos to Earth. A dark emission comes from someone abiding under the influence of pernicious feelings. A dark emission cannot ascend, but rather falls deep into the earth. After it is reflected off the bowels of the earth, it returns to the surface in the form of volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and wars. It's cute. And I have to just read it, I have to read it as utopian fiction and not as some holy book that some people are trying to turn it into. Okay? This is just messy, new agey bullshit. I can tell already. And I'm not prejudging it. It's right there on the page in front of me. Like I said, I'll still read it. I'll still take what I can out of it. I'm willing to explore any blob of thought that there is, and I've been doing that my whole life, which is one of the reasons I don't fall for any particular blob of thought, because I have so many blobs of thought I've dumped into my head that I can't believe any one of them. They're all potentially useful, but people also, I know they're dumb. They need something to follow. And so it's a question of how they follow it. Do they follow it as a template? Or do they follow it as the magic truth that you must know? You must know it. Oh, and they're glassy-eyed, stupid fucks. I'm a little bit... This is plastic, actually, so I'm not glassy-eyed. Well, I will read this later. I'm too tired. It's the middle of the night, and I can't read this right now.